So here's a couple of tests that I'm going to do with the 1000 dimmable color changing LED video light panel, whatever this thing is. Anyways, if you can see in this area here, I actually have a tungsten light hitting this, so it looks really yellow. And then the white reflective panel in front of it is balanced. Basically both my cameras right now are set to daylight. So it's just a built-in white balance using daylight. So that looks sort of white, and then you can see in this panel here, it's still kind of yellowish because I have a tungsten light hitting. So a real quick test, here's the dimmer option. I'm just going to turn this down. You can see it goes down to 0 and goes back up to full. So it's nice that you have that dimmable option there. And then here you have the color changing dimmer. So I'm going to just kind of slowly turn this. And you can see the different shades of kind of yellow that it's going to. And it may not be very close to this because this is a black reflection as opposed to white, but you can dial in the different color temperatures with this dimmer. I don't know if it shows up in the video, but I have the Zoom H1 sitting on top of the panel right here. So it's actually sitting on top of the light. And so you would expect some kind of noise from the video light panel, but it's actually really quiet. There's no fans to this, so it's just on or off. If you hear a buzzing noise, I have this light off on the side here. So hopefully that dimmer went, or that buzzing noise went away. Now it might be back on. So again, right now the LED video light is set to daylight, and I can dim it down to change the color temperature and kind of mix it in with the ambient light. So without having to use any kind of gels, it gives you a lot of different shade options to, you know, make things easier when you're balancing this LED light with the ambient light that's going on wherever you're shooting. So that's pretty cool. So we'll take a look at how this thing works on the front end. Okay, so a closer look at this LED light panel is half of the lights are using a tungsten color balanced set of LEDs. The other half are closer to daylight calibrated LEDs. So what the dimmer switch is doing is it's switching LEDs back and forth. So it looks like it's about half the set. So I want to say there's, you know, 500 tungsten and 500 daylight calibrated. So as I turn the dimmer here, you'll see that the daylight LEDs start to come on. And that's how you get a mix of light. And then if I switch all the way back the other direction, then I'm using the daylight calibrated LEDs over the tungsten. And that's how we can do its little color change method. Now this is the same method that the high-end LED panels use, which run, I'm guessing, I think there's one for like $2,000 online. So I don't know if they were the first to come up with this, but now this LED light is using that same kind of method. So I would have to say that if you were to use this for just straight daylight or tungsten, then you would only be using about 500 LEDs. And then if you're somewhere in the middle, you know, that's when you would take advantage of the full 1000 LEDs. So it really cuts down the light in half, as well as changing some of that color tone. So here it is actually at full brightness, and then I'll dim it down a little bit. That's at its minimum with the dimmer at minimum. So there's still something coming out of there. It's not completely off. Here's at its brightest, and here I'm going to switch to full daylight. So that's basically how that works.